for them. It's a great honor to the Muslim and mothers. That's why the God recognized you. Please tell your other sisters, as a Muslim, it's a very hard time in this country. And it's always someone has a hard time. Before there was Italians, if there was one dead body in the car, every Italian was stopped because he looked Italian. Before there was a war, if you have the face like a short nose, it's a Japanese, you're gonna be in a camp. If you are a African American, or they call that time the world end, they go through all things. And I salute everybody, and maybe one of them with us over here, so many people who fight for the civil liberties. And I salute those Jewish people who don't believe Zionism. They join the civil liberty unions, they join the civil march, and now we have a civil rights over here. And now at this moment, we Muslim as a group, and I'm asking you, and I promise you being a Pakistani, and maybe I'm not that kind of Muslim which I'm supposed to be. But one thing I learned from my family, justice system is a base of the future of the humanity. And I promise you, being an immigrant, I pledge every immigrant behalf of, we will never elect any government in this country who start against the war against other peoples, who helping and giving the money to the Zionist Israel, who giving a hard time in Somalia to the people, who paying the billions of dollars to keep their air bases in all Russian states. No, no, no. It was wrong in 1950s. It was wrong in 1970s. It was wrong in 1880. It's wrong in 2010. And I salute everybody of you who came down over here. You are the hero. Please go to your home and write down your name in a book that you was here in the atmosphere of the fear. You show the world that we as American, we as a Muslim, and we as a human. And I salute the organizer, International Action Center, the students, and Imam Salah. Thank you very much that you give us a chance. And one thing I'm going to ask my young students and my young people all over the world, please never hide your feelings, but show the world that our teacher told us and teach us how to set in a good way. We are not fanatics. We are fighting against the fanatics who are using the F-16 against the Palestinian. You're helping the terrorism, Mr. USA. We are not helping any terrorist. Get out from Pakistan. Get out from Afghanistan. Get out from Middle East. Get out from Africa. And I'm asking Canadian, Australian, and the European, find your own way. Find your own way. Before you was the emperor of these countries, they teach you the lesson. Find your own way. Never treat Muslim and immigrants as a second and third grade. Today there's an election over there in British. There's a speech of against the niqab and hijab. One hand you said you have the freedom of speech. You have freedom to do anything. The woman can walk naked. But when some woman want to put some hijab on the face, I have no problem. She don't think this, I have to see her beautiful face. I have no problem because I'm not fit for her maybe. But I'm talking about this is civil rights. And please don't you against the Muslim bashing. We were standing against when you was bashing against the African American, against Italian, against Japanese, against Vietnamese in this country, and we always winner. And we will stand with the people who are fighting for their jobs, fighting for their education. Pakistan, USA Freedom Forum, show the solidarity with the family of Afia Siddiqui. One thing in the last, Fahad Siddiqui trial show the world that how our courts are working. Fahad Hashmi, in the Siddiqui case, he make a plea bargain, but he doesn't, I'm not shy. He done what he's supposed to do. His lawyer told anything, he
have indicated they're having trouble getting trains from certain parts of the city because the trains are not running because of an alleged bomb scare or something. So there are no doubt folks that I expected to be here, that we expected to be here, that probably are on their way but are stuck. So we're glad for those who are present, and we're going to continue with this discussion, this public discussion on something that goes to the heart of not only the welfare of the Muslim community, but also goes to the heart of this potentially great but deeply disturbed nation called America. We're going to bring up now some mothers. We're going to bring up Sister Duka, Sister Schnur. We're going to bring up Alicia Williams, the aunt. In another case, we're going to bring up also a young sister. We want the four of them to stand together. Layla, come on up. Layla Moran from Boston. And we want you to know that these women that are coming before you now, they represent three different cases. I mean, they're here out of concern for Dr. Afia Siddiqui, but they're also here out of concern for other cases that are very close to their hearts. In the case of three of the women standing here, two are mothers. Two are mothers of three, actually, four political prisoners. Four political prisoners. Sister Duka has three sons that were taken from her in a case that's known as the Fort Dix conspiracy case. Now, subhanAllah, let me just say something about this case that really goes to the heart of why we're here, and also why the resolution that was passed in Albany is so important. I was in the court on the day of sentencing of five young men. Five young men between the ages of 18 and 35. That targeted group, that specially targeted group emanating from the Justice Department back during the reign of a prior Attorney General, John Ashcroft. Some of us might remember an article that appeared in the Village Voice in January 2002 when Viet Dinh, one of the members of the conservative cartel out of the Justice Department, one of the high-ranking deputies of John Ashcroft, he admitted in a speech before the American Bar Association in Naples, Florida that year, January 2002, that the government was engaged in profiling the Muslim community. He was the first high-ranking government official I heard admit this. And when the question was raised, what is the criteria you're using for this racial and religious profiling? He said, quote, the same criteria Al-Qaeda uses. Men between the ages of 18 and 35 who come from countries where Al-Qaeda has a considerable presence. This is what he said. Now in this case, the Fort Dix 5 case, we have five young men. Five. One from a Turkish immigrant family. One from a Palestinian immigrant family. Sister Schnur here, the mother. And then the other three from an Albanian Muslim family. This was a case that had not one, but two agent provocateurs. Two. And on the day of sentencing, I was in the courtroom. I'm not telling you something that I heard second or third hand. I heard it myself. When the judge made his comments before the court, before sentencing these young men, he referenced the fact that there was not substantial evidence to really support the conviction. There was not visible evidence in the public record in all of the tapes from the agent provocateurs to really support the sentences he was about to give these young men. And the lucky one, the one that was considered to be the lucky one out of the bunch, got 33 years. But he said from the bench, this judge in Camden, New Jersey, in a federal courthouse, he said from the bench, that the agent provocateurs, the government informants, were not with these men 24 hours a day. So during the time that he was